distinguishes our firm is, in my view, work ethic, and we have a lot of experience here. I think that the more work an attorney is willing to put in, the more hours they spend in the office, the better outcomes they'll get for their clients. I think that's some of the advice that I got when I was starting out, was essentially, it doesn't really matter how smart you are. If someone else is willing to outwork you, they can potentially get a better result, advocate better. So we just work our asses off. That's what I'd say. We work really, really hard. And if we have a case where we're not getting the result we want, we'll dig harder and just put in all the time that we can to try and get a good outcome for our clients.
At Holloway & Hulling, we deliver the results that Griz fans deserve. If you've been charged with a criminal offense or a DUI, we will fight to defend your rights.
If you've been injured in an accident, we have the offense to get you the compensation you deserve.
Choose the right team. Choose Holloway & Hulling for proven criminal defense and personal injury legal services, a proud partner of Grizzly Athletics. Visit us soon at our new downtown location or check out our website for more information.
Football season never ends. And that's why we're going to just keep on talking football. We used to always go season to season, and we still cover all the other sports that are going on. But we made the decision about a year ago. We're going to just talk football weekly, year-round here on Nuanez Now on the Big Sky Breakdown, because there's always just stuff to talk about. So we're checking in for a little post-spring ball recap, as well as just a sort of state of affairs with the University of Montana football team. First-year head coach Bobby Kennedy joining us now here on ESPN Radio. Coach, appreciate the time, man. How's it going?
Well, thanks, Colter. It's great to be here, and things are going well, just kind of plugging away every day.
Well, I know last weekend was a fun one for you guys. You got to show off all the digs to a bunch of the big supporters of the University of Montana. I got a couple buddies that are in the quarterback club that went and got the whole tour of, the weight room champion center, all that sort of stuff. Love that you guys are doing that kind of stuff. Why do you think that sort of stuff is important, and how much fun was that for you to just show off the facilities at the University of Montana?
Yeah, it was great. And really, the reason why we're doing it is because it's just to say thank you, right, to our supporters, to fans, people that are interested in the program. We didn't ask for anything, and we want to be more inclusive. We want to have different functions for our quarterback club people and the people that really support our program, not only financially, but also with their with their spirit and their, the narrative that they give about Montana football. And it was great. We had about 200 people, and it was fun. I knew a lot of the people, but it was fun getting to know some of the other people also, and just being around them. And it wasn't just showing off the facilities. It was kind of a behind-the-scenes tour of Montana football, the equipment room, how we game plan, nutrition, weight room. So it was a really good opportunity for us to showcase to them, number one, what their money goes to, but also give them just a little behind-the-scenes look.
Well, it seems like you put a really high priority on that exact element, is making as many people as possible feel like they're included, they're a part of something. Where does that come from? Like, where does the motivation to do that come from for you and for the program?
Well, I'll tell you this, and I've said this many times before. Mac Brown, when I coached for him at Texas, was a great influence on my career. And he was always very willing to open up the doors, to give people behind-the-scenes look at what we did at Texas. And it just kind of rubbed off on me. But then also, just to, like I said, to be able to say thank you. And people want access because sometimes they think they know what's going on, but to give them that little bit of a taste, they say, wow, I understand this so much better now. I understand what you're doing. I know I've been active on, social media in the weight room in the morning, when the guys are lifting, and the nutrition station and just things like that. And number one, it's easy to do, but number two, I believe in giving access not only to the players but also our assistants, so that people can really get to know them, and it's just not a name and a face or a jersey, right? They can get to know them a little better.
It seems like that not only it helps people feel involved, but it also makes it seem like when people are informed about things, it seems like then they maybe have a better understanding too, and that also probably helps drive your vision for the program and for the football team forward.
Absolutely, and I'm having a team meeting today with the players, right? And what I'm saying to them is the same thing I say to myself every day, okay? You control your own narrative, all right? You put out there what you want people to see, and if you give them access and they feel a part of it, then hopefully they'll be supportive, right? And the thing with the players, I tell them, you know, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's on campus, whether it's in the community, just like me, you have to earn it every day. And so every day that I come to work, it's how do I make Montana football better? How do I keep pushing it forward?
Bobby Kennedy joining us, Griz football coach here on Nuanez Now. Or maybe you're listening on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. No matter how you're tuning in, appreciate you for being here. When it comes to just sort of the other big picture part of this, I think that last week I sorry I didn't get a chance to say hi at the deal with Destination Missoula, but that was a cool deal and a fun event. I had to run off and go do my live part of my show, but that's just one arm now of the revenue sharing, the NIL, stuff like that. I know it's just there's all these different worlds that college football programs can live in, because Alabama and Montana are not the same, right? Like the resources are just not the same. But it seems like the University of Montana is really leaning in and finding some creative ways to be competitive in the FCS space with partnerships like that with Destination Missoula and bringing in revenue there. I know you got some guys on your team that are going to be doing some youth football camps this summer as well. That seems like a great way for them to make some NIL money, but also give back to the community. So how would you just sort of describe the place that Montana sits and sort of the efforts of the university, the administration, but also some of your players are making to stay competitive in that space?
Yeah, well, number one, the university's been great. And like you said, it's the world that we live in right now. And yeah, we're not Alabama, we're not Texas, but we have a really good niche and a really good product here at Montana. And so to capitalize on that with Destination Montana, or hopefully we'll get some restaurants and some other people, included in some other functions that we're going to do. I just think always kind of thinking outside the box and how do you push it forward? Because NIL is a real thing, right? Revenue share is a real thing. And our guys are doing a great job in the community. And now, because of the system that we're in, they can benefit a little bit financially. And good for them, good for us. But also, people want to partner with people that are good people that are doing the right things. And we have guys like that on our campus. So that's what I'm excited about. And like I said, the university's been very supportive, and the athletic department. Our senior staff has been unbelievable in terms of coming up with new ideas, how to include people, how to create more revenue. Just they're really forward thinking, and that's been really fortunate for our program.
Well, you've been at the highest level of college football. And, there's always the running joke where people say, well, players are getting paid now, but players have always been getting paid. Now there's just a lot more transparency to it. I think that some people that are maybe older fans of college football don't like all this stuff, but I actually see a lot of positives in it. But what do you think? Like, what do you think just sort of the implementation of the ability for these players to earn some money based on both their abilities and their name, image, and likeness?
Yeah, well, number one, you talked about some of those other programs. Obviously, if you look at our NIL deals and things like that, nobody's getting rich here at Montana.
Sure.
They are earning some extra money. We're doing a nice job at this level of taking care of them. But it's also for them to be able to have, not only their scholarship, but a little extra spending money and opportunity to travel maybe back and forth to home or help their parents if they're in a tough situation, whatever it is, right? Like I said, we're not paying millions of dollars to kids, right? That's not what we're doing at this level. But guys are benefiting from it. And like I said, that's the structure that we're in right now. And the name, image, and likeness thing came about. And I actually think we're doing it the right way here because, like I said, guys are benefiting from it, but it's not outlandish.
I mean, it seems like it's just helping them live a more balanced life too, right? I mean, I remember some of my buddies that were playing for the Griz 20 years ago, and by the time you pay the rent and get the groceries, you got like $5 to live off of for the rest of the month. And this is just helping these guys, have a little extra cash to maybe be able to get better food at the grocery store and stuff like that, right? It's nothing crazy or outlandish.
Yeah, and like I said, to be able to go out to dinner or go on a date or go to a movie, like I said, maybe gas home and things like that. I mean, I just think for us, it's the right structure. And like I said, nobody at our place is getting rich off this deal, but we're able to provide some things maybe that some people at our level can't. And that's the benefit of the people that care about our program, the people that pack Washington Grizzly Stadium every week. Our players should be benefiting from that a little bit.
Yo, Tara, what up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more championships.
Drink a beer and support a Griz athlete. DraftWorks is a longtime favorite of beer enthusiasts across the Treasure State, and DraftWorks has created a sessionable, delicious lager that donates part of every sale to the name, image, and likeness efforts at the University of Montana. Up with Montana Lager is a crisp, effervescent beer that pours pale straw in color and greets you with an inviting malty aroma, and it's crafted with Griz athletes in mind. If you're headed to the tailgate or stocking up to watch football, give back to the NIL Collective at the University of Montana by drinking Up with Montana Lager, proudly created by DraftWorks Brewing.
Is a will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Bobby Kennedy joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. So when it comes to spring football, then what did you like about what you saw out of your team? We can get into some of the specifics, because I know we talked some specific guys after the spring game, but just in general, how do you sort of characterize the session that you guys had, and what sort of places did you see your team improve?
Yeah, number one, being a new head coach and walking out onto the practice field, the great thing that I saw every day is that there was real excitement out of our players. Excitement to get better, excitement to learn. Obviously, we're tweaking some things with the defense. Brent Pease always has some things up his sleeve on offense. When we get a special teams coordinator in place, we'll have some new schemes in that area too. But the willingness to go out and really work, compete every day, and that's what I've always said. And once again, I'm talking to the guys today in kind of our wrap-up team meeting before they go on a little bit of a break. And how are you going to compete every day at practice, every day in the weight room, every day in winter, not winter conditioning, now it's going to be summer conditioning, but there has to be that competitive drive every day. And so when I walked out on the field, I saw 98% of our guys that were trying to do it the right way, that were really working, and that there was some juice and some excitement around practice. So that's what excited me, but also having guys maybe that hadn't had as many snaps in the past get reps. A Gage Salter, right? Some of our running backs. So that's what was exciting for me, and then also developing depth at other positions.
Well, certainly, I thought there was plenty of standout guys during the spring game, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about the receivers, because obviously you lose a couple great ones there in Michael Wortham and Drew Deck, but you coached that spot last year. Seems like there's some guys with some immense potential. I really thought Legend Lyons looked great in the spring game. I mean, you got to love what Corbin Hendricks brings to the table just in terms of his overall natural gifts. So start with those two, but just tell me more about that group and maybe where you saw them grow and develop during spring.
Yeah, so number one, we're not a finished product. And I always say to guys, it's not add water, instant player. And the thing that I saw out of Legend, obviously he was digesting a lot because he came in from another system. He had to learn our system. And it was baby steps to begin with, right? And there were a lot of mistakes. But where he ended up in spring, I think having a good base underneath himself and digesting more and more of the offense every day, it's going to allow him to have a great summer and then hopefully a great fall. Because we need guys like him. We need guys like Jordan Deaver. We need guys like Corbin Hendricks to step up. Because losing Michael Wortham and Drew Deck, Drew Deck, I always say this, he was a great story because he had not played a lot. But Drew didn't back away from the challenge. To lose a guy like Blake Bohannon, who was really productive for us, yeah, we need Corbin Hendricks and Jordan Deaver and, Legend Lions. And really, you look, Brooks could have a better year, right? Like, I think Brooks is on path. I think he's changed his body in the offseason. I think he's more durable. He's got a much better understanding. He was always a really smart guy, but a much better understanding of our offense and how things fit together and his relationship with the quarterback and where he's supposed to be and the timing of different things. So that's really exciting to me. But also we need a guy like Weston Adams to come through. He's been a guy that's been a little banged up. And Ian Finch did all the tough stuff for us last year when we were running the football. Well, he proved during spring ball that he's a capable receiver. And so to get those guys to take the next step this summer and then into fall training camp, we need some big things out of those guys.
When it comes to the quarterback spot, you were a little short-handed during the spring game, but I thought some of those younger guys looked pretty good. But where are you at there? Obviously, Kiel Ayat coming back is a huge boost for the entire program, and I think he has a chance to be the best player in the country if he puts it all together. What did he gain from spring, even with maybe limited action, and where are you at with his development, and what do you think just the rest of that group?
Yeah, I always think for a quarterback, for a receiver, for any position, it's always good sometimes to take a step back and also help coach the other guys. Like, I was really impressed with Luke Flowers, how he started out before he got nicked a little bit. And, we talked about Gage. Gage had been a really valuable guy, for us signaling and getting guys straight formations and things like that. So for Kaylee to be able to help those guys and help coach those guys and kind of look at it from a different perspective, I think is really valuable, right? And he's a great leader to begin with, and I saw that emerge last year when he started to become a little more vocal with the wide receivers and different players, on the offense. And now it's time for him to take that big step forward and really kind of lead our whole team.
On the other side of the ball, Bobby Kennedy joined us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. On the defensive side of the ball, I thought your linebackers looked great. I think that some of the additions you made in the secondary are going to be valuable too. The defensive line, though, a lot of newer guys, younger guys that have a lot to prove. So what did you think of that group's progress? And I know you guys, you probably can't talk specifically about the specific recruits, but I know you've been going after some guys this offseason, to fortify that interior defensive line. So how big of a concern is that for you, and where are you at with the defensive front in general?
Well, I really like our defensive front, especially with the addition of these guys that are going to be coming in. I think we had to add some size, right? I think we have really good linebackers, and to get some bigger bodies up front, and trust me when I say this, our defensive line, we had some good guys already, but also for depth and to get those guys that can control those gaps and to push those offensive line guys back, I think it's really valuable. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I thought we made great gains in our strength program under Dan Ryan this offseason, because I see those guys getting bigger. Also with our nutrition station and what we're doing in that department, guys are getting more calories. They look better. And not to say that we had deficiencies in the past, but, every year it's about growth and how you get better. And so I'm really pleased with our upfront play, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But like I said, we're not a finished product, and it's going to be really competitive. And those guys gotta have a great summer.
Well, last thing for you then, the science of physicality is such an important part of football no matter what level you're at, but it's been sort of well established over these last 15, 16 years that, that is the style that wins in the FCS, right? It's North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State, that's what they do. They beat you up front on both sides of the ball and run the ball and all that sort of stuff. So how big of a priority is that for the Grizzlies moving forward as you guys chase the national championship?
Yeah, it's a huge priority. It all starts with our offense and defensive lines, right? Like we've got to do a great job running the football, and obviously we have Eli coming back, and he's a great running back. But we have other guys. Hashim Jones is a really good player, and we've got to be able to run the ball and move people up front. The same thing on the defensive line, right? We've got to be able to stop the run and get pressure on the passer. And so it's going to start up front with those guys, and then you talk about our quarterback and our running back and our wide receivers, our secondary, right? Those guys are all big pieces of the puzzle, right? But it's got to start with those guys up front, and we got to continue to improve.